morning and welcome to Market Insights. I am Lavina Emma. Now it's a beautiful Wednesday morning with the rain. It's made everywhere very cool and calm this morning. So today we are discussing the recent regulatory shifts in Nigeria's cryptocurrency. Today we are discussing the recent regulatory shifts in Nigeria's cryptocurrency space, the delisting of the Naira from peer-to-peer crypto trading platforms. Now this move by the Securities and Exchange Commission in collaboration with the Office of the National Security Advisor has sent shockwaves throughout the Nigerian crypto community. Now, what is the impact of this decision on the country's economy? The delisting stems from concerns about potential manipulation of the Naira's exchange rate. I mean, we've had this stories in the past. We've had these issues. They've come up in a few months ago, how crypto trading platforms were influencing the Naira, how the Naira is faring against other foreign currency. Now, regulators believe that unfettered P2P trading could contribute to the currency volatility. However, the impact of this decision may be multifaceted. First, it could stifle the growth of the Nigerian crypto market, which has seen a surge in recent years. In addition, cryptocurrency adoption has provided alternative investment avenues for Nigerians and fostered a young, tech-savvy generation of entrepreneurs, limiting accessibility to Naira-denominated transactions. Now, this could dampen the enthusiasm, this new regulation by the SEC. But on the flip side, the delisting might help stabilize the Naira. By curbing potential speculative activities in the P2P space, the SEC hopes to foster a more predictable foreign exchange market. This could benefit businesses that rely on stable imports and exports, and they also use the Naira for their imports and exports. So this morning, my guest and I will discuss the long-term implications of the delisting and how it's going to affect our economy. So my guest this morning is Professor Olaleye Awe. He is the founder, Alpha Training Lab, Nigeria's foremost cryptocurrency trading community, and he's joining us virtually this morning. So welcome to the program, Professor Awe.
Good morning, and thanks for having me.
I'm glad you're here this morning. So we're discussing the recent crypto exchange, how it has been delisted from P2P, and the impact on our economy. As you know, we currently the economy, a lot of young people usually trade with cryptocurrency, but with the new announcements from the SEC, there might be some issues with this trading right now, especially peer-to-peer trading. So now, how will this affect the economy with this new announcements from the SEC?
Okay, so I think the last time I was on your show, I mentioned that some of these actions were coming. There were writings on the wall since I think a few years back when the CBN first and foremost decided to pseudo ban crypto in Nigeria. And I remember, I think it was earlier this year or was it late last year when this government said they were rescinding that directive and giving the industry freedom to operate, but within certain rules that is going to be set by the SEC. And okay, but I think the speculation around how crypto trading has affected the economy and the currency is, like I've always said, it is overinflated. And the reason I would say this is because, well, I've been in crypto for I think about how many years now? About almost 10 years. And I can say for a fact that many things that is blamed on crypto is not usually the case, and this is one of them. Nigeria is not the only country where there's P2P trading going on. In fact, I think most countries have more P2P trading activities than um, centralized exchange activities. Yet they don't have this issue of government blaming the P2P system for the behavior of the currency. But I can understand why the government will um, put the blame on crypto, because on many of the crypto platforms that had Naira listed, there was a lot of what will I call it now? Funny activities going on with people setting whatever prices that they like. And I don't think that is out of place, because it's like somebody selling Coca-Cola in a boutique and somebody selling it by the roadside. They're going to price differently, obviously. And it's up to the buyer to determine which of the vendors they want to patronize, right? And in P2P system is almost the same thing. It's like somebody saying, okay, I have this thing, I want to sell it at social price. Now, if there is no demand at that price, I don't think the transaction will happen. And what this means is that I doubt if um, the activities of the P2P has had as much effect as the CBN and all the other agencies are claiming. Because interestingly, in 2021, when the CBN came out and said, oh, we are banning crypto because it's the one affecting our economy, it's the one affecting our currency, the Naira was at 360 at the time. Now, when the ban was effected, it went to as high as almost 900. So who do you blame for that? The same thing you have claimed that you have now banned. And then this time around, when the CBN came out and said, oh, we're, finally banning Naira denominated pairs on centralized exchanges. Now, apart from the initial panic that happened where, the Naira recovered to, I think, about 1 or thereabout. After that, it's been, to the upside. I think after the news several weeks ago, Naira has gained almost 300 Naira. So the question is, what is responsible for that? And that tells you that there are more fundamental issues that the government is refusing to tackle that is responsible for all that has been going on with the economy and with the currency. And I believe that crypto is easy to blame because it's the not many people are familiar with it, so it's easy to blame anything on it. There was a time where they say crypto was being used by kidnappers. Meanwhile, most times kidnappers take transfers, they take cash deliveries, and nothing has been done all the while. Recently, EFCC chairman said that people were using crypto to fund terrorism in Nigeria. Now, the question is this: if the EFCC knows those funding terrorism, why have they not gone after these people? So I'm sure the audience can tell why. So in my honest opinion, I don't think crypto is responsible for what is being blamed on it, but it is what it is.
Okay, yes, I understand what you're saying. Yes, we can't blame cryptocurrency trading, the community of influencing the price of the Naira against other foreign currencies. But, the SEC hopes to foster a more predictable foreign exchange market, and they believe that by banning P2P, that it will help stabilize the Naira and it will also curb speculators' activities. Now, This delisting now, how will this delisting impact the growth of the Nigerian crypto market? As you know, we discussed it previously on the program that cryptocurrency is good for investing and for other activities that you want to do online, legal activities online. It has helped a lot of people to also save money too. So now, how will this delisting impact the growth of the Nigerian crypto market? That's the first question. Then you've also heard the monetary rates, our monetary policy rate has been increased to over 26%. Now, do you think this would also affect people who are investing in crypto, or it will also drive more people to the cryptocurrency trading community, since they won't be affected by this high interest rates that was recently released by the Central Bank of Nigeria? So we start with the first question, how this delisting will affect the cryptocurrency market. Then on the monetary policy rate that was recently released, how it will also affect people investing in cryptocurrency. Will they still want to, will there be a high rush to invest more in cryptocurrency, so that they will not be affected by this high interest rate?
Okay, so for me, I don't particularly see any major, maybe a little setback, maybe a bit of a slowdown in the activities of crypto, because the essence of crypto in the first place is personal freedom, which means individuals can exchange value with themselves regardless of where they are in the world. And what that means is that the essence of crypto is P2P. In other words, transactions must happen between two or more people. Now, my curiosity is to know how the government intends to stop two people from exchanging value however way they decide to do it. Because what has been done is to go after centralized exchanges and say, oh, we don't want you to list Naira pairs. But people forget that P2P is actually between two individuals. And that exchange system is just like a marketplace. So they're just platforms that allow people to come and say, okay, I have this for sale, or I want to buy this. In other words, people don't necessarily need those platforms to get transactions done P2P. And that's why I said, barring the initial, you know, the initial panic and, confusion, I believe that people will always find, water will always find its level. People will eventually find ways to reach out to themselves and complete transactions. Of course, those platforms provide some form of security for the end users, because there's been cases where somebody pays for some asset, and then some digital asset, and then the other person absconds with the money. So some of these platforms, act as escrows to to prevent those kind of things. But I believe that, there are always going to be ways where people find, either in small communities that they come together to, transact among themselves and stuff like that. So I don't think it's going to necessarily stop the activities of crypto traders. And interestingly, which of course will answer the next question, most times when the government has attacked crypto, there's been is always coincided with a bull market cycle for crypto. Now, whether this is a coincidence or not, I don't know really, because it's been too consistent to be seen as a coincidence, in my honest opinion. There's almost all the time when the government has come out and, gone after crypto. In Nigeria specifically, crypto has always been, like in an uptrend, which makes it a lot more attractive to people who want to, save their money from inflation, who are having trouble accessing facilities from the government, from the banks, and all of that. And given the recent decision by the CBN to increase interest rates, it means that lending money from traditional channels will be almost on white, and there are alternative solutions in crypto, DeFi, and many other solutions that gives people access to some of these things. In other words, I think most people will see crypto as more attractive. And then given the fact that crypto is in a bull market phase, there's a chance that more people will flock towards crypto, which also defeats the purpose of what the CBN is trying to do. Because to a large extent, um, looking at the monetary policies that the CBN is putting in place and all of that, they're trying to bring more money into the banking system and keep it there. But the truth of the matter is you cannot force people you cannot force how people will use their monies or their resources. You can only give them options. And I don't think the Nigerian system is giving enough options for citizens because you're being hit on every side. Inflation is there, rising interest rates is there, all kinds of things is, attacking you from all angles. So you would naturally seek alternatives. And I think crypto has offered that in many places where you've had, those repeated government, intervention or let me say, disturbances in the crypto system. So I believe at the end of the day, it's a win for crypto. I don't think all the actions of the government is all negative. I think to some extent it's good because it also will help people to become more aware of what crypto is about. And then maybe they would, make some findings and see that, oh, maybe this is the thing that we actually even need. I remember in one of the sessions we had some time ago, I mentioned that I believe that crypto was made for Africa. There is a layer of crypto that empowers the African to be more of what they can be. And I believe that crypto gives us that bridge to, advance of all the innovations that has been created in the past multiple years. I think crypto is the only one that Africa joined early. Most of the others were joining maybe like 40, 50, or 100 years after, But crypto is like the first one that we kind of joined the revolution early enough. And I think that is something that the government needs to help to grow rather than try to kill. Crypto is not the enemy. I will keep saying that anyway.
Okay, thank you for that, Professor Awe. Yes, it's not the enemy, and we are not. We shouldn't look at it like the government is trying to stifle the growth of this online digital currency. They just want to be able to understand it better and regulate it, and also to curb the activities of speculators. Because recently, the naira against other foreign currencies is being quite high actually, so they're trying to also curb activities of speculators. So now in the long term, do you think this will affect Nigeria's overall economic landscape? So what are your thoughts on this?
Well, I think at the end of the day, crypto is just a very small piece of the pie, really. Um, to a large extent, I think many factors that are affecting the economy at the moment is, first of all, the dollar is strengthening because of, inflation going down in the US and interest rate also being, tapered down a little bit. So the dollar is on the uptick. And then also, oil prices has been a little bit on the downside, is going downwards. So, and you know that Nigerian economy depends largely on oil revenues, right? So if oil is going down and the dollar is strengthening against other currencies, I don't think Naira will um, and that's why I was amused when I saw some of the things the CBN was doing, which looked like they were trying to do a abracadabra. You cannot deceive economics. Economic policies cannot be manipulated. You can do whatever you like, but the economics will still stand true. And I believe the government knows what to do. I don't think that they are completely ignorant of what needs to be done to stabilize the currency, for example, and all of those things. But the question is there the willpower to do it, given all the people it's going to affect? Because whether you like it or not, we have monies that are flowing through the banking system that belongs to the Nigerian public but is in private pockets. And the banks see these things, the CBN sees these things, and they do nothing about it. But crypto is the problem. That's why I feel like, all the drama is unnecessary, really, because if you want to solve a problem, you go to the root of the problem and you decide to deal with the issue from the root. And we know there are many things that, is plaguing the Nigerian economy. For example, productivity is not at the level it should be, and we all know why. If power, for example, in how many years we've not been able to fix electricity. Electricity is a necessity in the 21st century, but we've not been able to fix that. There's no growth that can happen without that fundamental fix. I believe if the government seriously focuses on that and fixes electricity, the kind of growth that is going to happen in Nigeria will be unprecedented. But we also know why that is not happening. And that's why I believe that, all the conversations around crypto and, all of those blame games that is going on is disingenuous, because at the end of the day, crypto is here to help. Crypto is more of giving Africans the bridge to join the world, because before now, imagine if there was no crypto. I can imagine most of us cannot even make payments for anything online with our bank cards. So I cannot pay for a course, for example. I cannot do anything that involves the rest of the world. Now, what does that mean? It means I'm stuck in, in Africa. I will not have access to the world. But crypto gives you the access to anywhere in the world. I can pay for any course I want to. I can pay for any service anywhere in the world. And that gives me access to the rest of the world. I can offer my services. I can offer my expertise on a global level. And those things will attract FX back to the country. So you see that no matter how you're looking at it, crypto is here to help. And the government needs to, stop the drama and get to work, sit down with the stakeholders, understand how this thing, can be better operated so that it comes to the benefit of all. And that's why I asked the question in the last session we had, that is the government really wanting to solve the problem of Nigerians? Is the government really wanting to empower Nigerians? Because if they want to empower Nigerians, crypto obviously offers that. And so why are they attacking something that empowers the Nigerian public? I'm sure we all know the answer to that, and that's why I believe that the solution is to, sit down with the stakeholders, map out a plan that, allows everybody to make the most of the possibilities that this digital asset industry offers. And I said it before, I will say it again, it is an advantage for Africa. Africa has a chance to reach the rest of the world, to, exchange value, exchange, services, goods on a global scale. And this will in turn bring most of, because if we're still relying on oil, demand for oil is going down. And that means that there's going to be a time where we're no longer going to be able to earn as much FX as we need, which will further increase the pressure on the on the exchange rate. And that's why I said that I don't think that these people don't know what the solution is. I just think it's deliberate, and well, that's my own opinion. And I don't want to say too many things, but I believe that the solution to the problem is known, and whether the willpower is there to do it is what I don't know. But crypto, like I said before, is not the enemy. It's here to help. And I believe if Nigeria and Africa as a whole aligns with crypto the way it should be, there would be explosive growth all around Africa, especially Nigeria, because we have very bright minds in Nigeria. We have people with very, and we are hardworking. We can work for for so long, solving problems and all of that. In fact, some of the um, best solutions in crypto has emerged out of Africa. So it tells you how ready we are to take our value to the world, but we know who and why they're holding that back. So for me, I believe that the economy is going to get better as far as the government is willing to do what needs to be done. And some of it will not be pretty, but if it needs to be done, then it should be done, right? And at the end of the day, like I said, whether we like it or not, whether the government continues to act this drama of, blaming everything else but itself for the problem, I don't know how long we would continue to do that, because the world as it is under a lot of pressure. There's a lot of things going on in the world that requires, very innovative and new ways of thinking and approaching problems. And I believe that unless we embrace that, really, we're just going to keep moving in circles. And, um, I don't think there's much to say about that.
I think, yes, like you said, we are optimistic that the government will definitely see there is good in this digital currency. And let's just be hopeful in summary. Let's be hopeful. So now, as an expert, as a crypto trading expert, now, what solutions would you give to businesses and individuals who previously relied on P2P crypto transactions?
Okay, so like I've always said, the ethos of crypto is P2P. Without P2P, crypto cannot exist, right? And I believe that it's also an opportunity for crypto participants to begin to create communities, active communities that carry the value systems that we are all hoping that one day will be reflected in the Nigerian society. And that's why, communities like our own, where, over the years we have built a system of accountability where people can transact with themselves without fear. I remember I used to have one partner that we did business in very huge figures, and we never got to see ourselves for years. Everything was done on trust. And I believe that a lot of transactions that happen in the P2P space is based on trust, which means you have to build communities. You have to build systems that ensures that those that are in that system complies with a certain level of accountability and transparency. And I believe to a large extent, many of the participants in crypto have at one point or the other had to, transact with another person based on trust. Because before these exchanges came into Nigeria, people were doing P2P transactions. So they just only came to make it a lot easier and, maybe increase the access so that you have more and more people interacting with themselves. But I believe that that is not that they're no longer operational does not mean that people cannot, still do their transactions with themselves. It's just that, of course, you have to then do the basic things that those platforms were doing, like KYC. You have to know your customers. You have to know those you're dealing with. You have to also have, anti-money laundering policies in place, avoid certain volume of transactions unless you have certain levels of KYC done with that partner. And all of those things put in place is one of the things that some of us, when we started, we self-regulated because we foresaw a future where governments will become curious and interested in seeing what we have been doing, how we have been, exchanging value without, knowing ourselves on a personal basis. And that's why for me as a policy, since I started trading cryptocurrencies, I don't transact with anybody who is reluctant to KYC because I take it as a red flag. I take it as you're hiding something. If you have nothing to hide, you would be open to scrutiny. And that's what I always say to everybody in our community, that if you are hiding something, then you would not want to review your identity or put a KYC system in place. And some of these things are things that I think a lot of people have been doing for a while, even before those platforms came around. It's just that those platforms makes it possible to be done at scale. For me, for example, I can't KYC 1,000 or 1 million people. It's impossible. So when I used to be actually trading P2P, I had a very small and closed system. Before I can get people into that system, I do. In fact, there were some people where I took marriage certificates and some other things just to be sure that, there's no games going on in that circle. And I believe that if P2P system will continue, you will need to then put your own systems in place, just as those platforms are in place, so that when there's time to answer questions, because for whatever reasons, if any of the law enforcement agencies invite you to come and explain a transaction, for example, or multiple transactions, you will have your records in place to back up what you have done and say, okay, this is who I transacted with. This is their KYC. This is what we've done. This is the history, and all of that information can protect you from, being the scapegoat in cases where, a bad transaction has happened. And personally, I've had this experience several times. So it's something I believe that will also help the industry to get stronger, because when you have systems like this, when you have governments, coming after the platforms you're familiar with, you have to get creative and, become more adaptable to whatever is going on in your environment. I think this has happened in many countries before Nigeria. So Nigeria is not, is not a is not is not a new thing. It's not a surprise, and that's why it's important for everyone to, get to doing the work, because exchanges made a lot of people lazy. They didn't do any KYC, they just transacted. But now you have to do the work, which means you have to know those you're dealing with, and you have to be sure that they are not bad actors, so that when trouble comes, you know how to protect yourself. So I believe it's just a call for everyone to sit up and, bolster their systems in dealing with different players on the P2P level.
We need to talk about the fact that this recent regulation from the SEC, do you think it will lead to an unregulated black market for P2P crypto trading to emerge? Because recently also another online digital currency, KU Coin, they have removed the Naira as a fiat currency option for transactions on KU coin. So it's already, everybody's beginning to remove the Naira as an option, as an option for fiat currency, I beg your pardon. So do you think it will lead to an unregulated black market for crypto trading?
Well, I think that is the sad reality of some of these moves that the CBN and SDC is making. Because, like I've always said, it is important for the government to bring more and more people into centralized, regulated platforms like the exchanges, because you can easily get people on those platforms to comply with rules, right? You can easily have visibility into the transactions going on those platforms, because many of those platforms, if registered in Nigeria, are bound by the laws of the country, which means if the country requires them to reveal certain information, they have no choice. But if they keep making the decision to push people further and further away from the regulated space, it's going to make their job a lot more difficult, because if people are dealing between, among themselves, the government cannot have visibility into that. Tops, maybe you see transactions on their bank statements and, maybe ask questions from there. But how many people are you going to, invite and ask questions about transactions on their bank statement? So literally, you're creating more problem for yourself. The policy should be more driving people into centralized platforms so that the incentive to use P2P is less, right? So, for example, in the US, for example, Coinbase is like the biggest exchange there, and most people use Coinbase because it's the most trusted brand in crypto in the US. Now, most of the transactions that people do in crypto goes through Coinbase. The government can easily go to Coinbase and say, oh, we want to know what's going on, with these customers. Are they evading taxes? Are they funding terrorism? That's very easy for the government to know, because the exchange platforms can easily provide a ledger showing the activities of any person of interest, right? But if everything is happening on P2P, how are you going to get that information? Even P2P traders, most of them don't keep proper records for you to be able to, even see into their activities, not to talk of leaving them to do these things on their own. And that's why I think the last time I mentioned that the government needs to do more of trying to bring people into these platforms so that they can see what is going on. Now, this new policy only takes us back several years, because now people will go back to, of course, dealing with themselves. Fraud will increase. Visibility will more or less disappear. And all of that is not at the advantage of the government at all. Now, the government is talking about taxing, crypto entities. How can you tax people that you don't even see what they're doing? So it's a lose situation for the government. And I think whoever is driving these policies and these decisions need to be called into a room, and questioned, because there's the interest of Nigeria is clearly not in that person's mind. And this needs to be dealt with quickly, as a matter of fact.
Okay, I understand what you're saying, yes. But let's, I mentioned that with these regulations that they are putting in place, they're trying to see how they can understand this digital currency better and the people who engage in this digital currency. That's the whole idea of this whole thing. So, but still going further on this, your expert opinion now, do you really think this is going to stifle innovation in the fintech space, which has seen considerable developments, especially in cryptocurrency trading with this new regulation from the SEC? Will it stifle innovation in the fintech space?
Okay, so let me just make a distinction between the two um, bodies, CBN and SEC. Now, the most intrusive policies that we've seen in crypto in Nigeria has been pushed by the CBN. The CBN has consistently come out to make um, declarations and policy statements that put crypto you know on the back burner, really. The SEC, however, has so far in the last few years done enough to convince me that they're really interested in seeing crypto innovation progress in Nigeria. Some of the policies there and systems they're putting in place points to this fact. I think recently they released a sandbox for innovative startups and companies to come under the umbrella of the SEC to um, show what they're building and receive support as well. I believe this is in the right direction. However, I think the CBN skipping over this SEC to make statements and intrude into the crypto industry is not good for confidence, because really, if you look at most of the advanced countries where um, policies have been put forward for crypto, it's usually done by the SEC. In the US, for example, you'll never hear the CBN talk about crypto. Most of the time, they focus on their policies and the policies that are important for the monetary system. So it's not about, the crypto. Crypto is just a very minute part of the economy, like I said. The whole of the crypto industry is just a very small fraction in the whole pie. So I don't understand why the CBN is always, the one coming to interfere in what's going on. And I believe that it is just a reflection of the Nigerian system, really. There is lack of synergy between both. And to be honest with you, the body that should regulate and manage crypto generally is the SEC. So most of the decisions that should be taken should, center around the SEC. But in Nigeria, really, everything goes. But I believe that what the SEC is doing is positive for crypto, because it is showing that they're interested in understanding, first and foremost, the innovation, and also, put the right environment for that to thrive. However, the CBN is more or less pouring sand into the SEC's garage. So I hope that, going forward, something will change, because this has been like the recurring theme for several years. But I believe the SEC is doing the right thing in the right direction. But there also need to be some form of synergy somewhere along the line where the SEC can fully focus on their function of regulating the digital economy, because there's no reason why the CBN is at the forefront of that. CBN is supposed to focus solely on monetary policy. Okay, if they say, oh, crypto is affecting the exchange rate, which I disagree with, because if you're talking about speculation, speculation is normal in every market. In fact, speculation is why markets exist. You cannot do any market cannot exist without speculators, and this is something that, is very funny to me, that people blame crypto for the behavior of the currency. Now there's been a ban, there was a pseudo ban, the currency still, went crazy. There's now an outright ban, the currency is still going up. So it tells you that there's something there that is, you know, somebody is telling us lies, and it's not crypto that is telling the lies. So you can, fill in the gap. But the point here is that people need to understand that there is need for government um, to create like a forum for stakeholders in the crypto industry and in government to come together and find solutions to the problem. I believe there is enough expertise in Nigeria to find a system that works for everybody, both crypto and the government. I believe we have that, but you know, there are many things that cannot be said on here, but it's just what it is.
Very much, Professor Awe. But to correct you, it's actually the Securities and Exchange Commission in collaboration with the Office of the National Security Advisor directed digital currency operators to delist the Naira from their platform as part of measures to protect the currency from manipulators, like I mentioned earlier on. So that's the whole purpose of this. But thank you so much for joining us this morning on Market Insights as we discuss the impacts of delisting the Naira from P2P trading and how it will affect our economy. And as you know, this online trading community, how it will also affect it. Thank you so much for joining us, for sharing solutions to this, and also how to advise businesses and individuals that are also involved in cryptocurrency trading. And we look forward to having you again on Market Insights.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Now let's take a look at the money market figures this morning. Let's see how the Naira is faring against the dollars, the euro, and the pound sterling. So for today, Wednesday, 22nd May, at the CBN rates, the Naira is currently selling at 1,396 Naira to $1. And at the parallel market rate, it's selling at 1,470 Naira to $1. Now, the pound sterling, at the CBN rate, it's selling for 1,801 Naira to 1 pound sterling. At the parallel market rate, it's selling for 1,870 Naira to 1 pound sterling. And the euro, at the CBN rate, it is 1,540 Naira to 1 euro. At the parallel market rate, it is 1,580 Naira to 1 euro. So those are our money market figures this morning. Thank you so much for watching Market Insights as we discuss these issues with the guests, and he offered solutions to this, like he rightfully mentioned, all stakeholders involved, both from the government and also experts in the crypto trading community need to come together and sit down to advise the government on what cryptocurrency trading does for Nigerians. Like my guest mentioned, it's helping them is to bringing out Nigerians from poverty, helping them to invest wisely and save their money wisely. So it's important for the government to understand what this digital currency entails and the benefits it has for people in this country. So thank you so much for watching Market Insight. That's our time this morning. And I look forward to next episode, which is tomorrow, where we discuss more issues affecting our economy, both in Nigeria, Africa, and globally. I am your host, Lovina Emma. Many thanks for watching.